Good morning, Philadelphia Eagles fans, and good morning, NFL fans, to, I believe, week 13 of the 2016 NFL season. This week, we take on the Cincinnati Bengals after a disappointing loss against the Green Bay Packers. Now, I'm going to try to make sure that this video this week is not too long. It's been a little frustrating, but I don't want to hawk on all the frustrating points, and that's part of my point of even doing this video in the first place. Let's be real. Last week, Monday night, our Birds absolutely put up a pretty crappy game against a revitalized now Green Bay Packers team. And pretty much still one of the best quarterbacks in the league, Aaron Rodgers, but that's still no excuse. It seemed like we didn't have many answers for their game plan to pretty much pass only, and we knew exactly what they were going to do, and we couldn't do anything about it. We made Adams look very good in his relationship on the field with Aaron Rodgers. Didn't take advantage of some of the opportunities that we had. Yeah, we ran into some reffing issues, but in the end, we just flat out lost, 27-13. It's very easy to sit and talk about and think about all the negative things of last week's game and our season. And I'm really going to sum it up this way. What's been really frustrating about this season, but I am going to bring this back around to positive, but what's been frustrating about this season is, if you really look at the decisions that we've been making, it's leaning towards a longer term solution and hopefully success that happens years down the line. But we have not capitalized even in a rebuilding time frame, which I didn't necessarily believe completely that we're in a rebuilding. I mean, we're going through that with the Sixers. But I still thought there was an opportunity to win now, because I've seen other teams do it, and I believe anything's possible. And yeah, if at all possible, we win the Super Bowl this year, even in rebuilding. And we lost 3 games this year where I really believe that we had the opportunities to win. That would be the game against Detroit, the Giants, and the Cowboys. If that's true, and if all those things would have went our way, right now, our Philadelphia Eagles would be sitting at 8-3. Which means our conversations would be a little different. We'd be talking about where we're standing in the playoff race and being able to do some level of damage. And we hung in there pretty deep against Dallas, which right now is the top team in the NFL. So that being said, it would be more than thinking that it's possible to get the right lineup like I've seen the Giants do before and get into the Super Bowl. I mean, yeah, I'm talking about that. But that's not our reality right now. Right now, am I giving up on the playoffs? No, I'm not. I never give up until it's mathematically impossible. But right now, we need to run the table, and we need help from all of these other teams that have tiebreakers with us because of conference records or head-to-head. So yeah, I was sad after the game a little bit. I'll be honest. I also lost a bet. I have to buy a cheese platter for a Green Bay fan that I know out here that I work with. That's a shout out to you, Scott. I'll man up to that. I might go up to Reading Terminal Market to go buy some cheese and make it look nice. Put some Packer stuff on there, because a bet's a bet. But it also forced me to sit back and look at this Philadelphia business. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. Gotta be real about this being a business, including the NFL. And look at the decisions our Eagles have been making. And I was listening. I don't listen often, but I listen enough, 94.1, to even Grace, and he made a really good point. The Eagles never came out and said, like, this is an all-in year, no matter what, we're just going to go for it, Super Bowl. I think they understood that they would have to make some sacrifices in order for them to invest in a long-term future where hopefully it brings the Super Bowl trophy to the city finally. And there's some things that we did and didn't do that shows you what we're what the Eagles organization's thinking. But then we jumped out 3-0, winning 3 games in a row, especially beating the mess out of Pittsburgh when they looked hot. And we kind of just ramped it up, and the media helped us out as well, saying, hey, look, this might not be rebuilding. This might be a deep playoff caliber team. And we took that and we ran with it. And we allowed ourselves to get out of control and start talking trash again as a family. I don't talk too much trash, but I'm part of the Eagle family, and I know how we talk. I mean, big shout out to my buddy Desert Eagle 90. I mean, I like his videos because he shows a level of passion, just like I do, just in a different way. He's still part of the family. And we're a passionate fan base. We care about what happens, and we're not like, whatever. This is how we work. But we allowed ourselves to just go overboard. And once again, that was a recipe for disappointment. Do I think we should not do that in the future? I like getting excited. Me personally, I do. So I'm not going to tell other people not to get excited about stuff, but we have to be realistic. And I know during the off season, if we end up there earlier than expected, I'll go through some of these decisions we make. I mean, look at how we drafted this last year. We drafted offensive line. We're trying to build something like Dallas has done with their offensive line, where their offensive line allowed for them to draft pretty much anybody at running back, but Zeke is special. Draft anybody there to rely and depend on, and then you could draft a quarterback 4th round. So much pressure is not on him because the offensive line and those running backs are now controlling that game, which then takes the pressure off your defense and allows for you to play downhill defense after you're already playing with the lead and control the ball. And your defense stays fresh because they're not sitting on the field for most of the game. So you can see the Vaitai and Smalu and Lane Johnson being suspended didn't help that, and we knew that in the summer, and we didn't pay attention to it as much. And I think there's a lot of positives that we can take from this. I mean, we're trying to get by right now with some free agents that are going to be replaced by draft picks. And that's how you build a championship caliber team, is through the draft, not through trying to piece everything together like we did a couple years ago with the Dream Team and say we're going to buy free agents to the point of winning the Super Bowl. It doesn't happen. The only other frustrating part, and I'm not going to hawk it, but the only frustrating part too is looking at the creativity, even in this time frame, looking at the creativity on making space and coming up with plays that still allow us to compete with what we have. We see other teams trick plays. We see other teams, even when they're checking down, developing these opportunities for success, and that's what the Packers did against us. And then, of course, Aaron Rodgers, very accurate, throwing deep, and that's what he did. Whether it was a push-off knot with Jordy Nelson, Aaron Rodgers can just be accurate. And then we're dealing with some other issues like Nelson Aguilar. I hope, as the kind of Eagles fan that I am, and what I've been saying the last couple of weeks, I hope that I've encouraged other Eagles fans to reach out in a positive way towards Nelson, because he said it himself. I know myself, I did personally send him a letter, and I will continue, because if he's in my city, my home, I'm going to encourage the best to happen, and I want him to develop. They've been coming out and saying over and over again, this is not a hard-working issue. He's been getting open, and he even got open against Sherman, wide open. He's got little things to get over, and I want our city to help him that, so he stays here and helps our family benefit from the love that we give him. Bring it back, bring that love back with how you are in this community, like what Connor Barwin does, and what you do on the field, and how you work, and how you represent in this city. So this week we play against the Cincinnati Bengals. They don't look too good on paper. They're missing all their key components. I mean, they're missing A.J. Green, which is a star wide receiver. They're missing a tight end, Eford. They're missing the running back. Dalton's a game manager. He's not an Aaron Rodgers and all that stuff. But we have the ability to play up and down with our competition. So I can't say anything about the Bengals in a bad way. Who knows, we might end up in a tie. It's happened with our teams before, what, 8 years ago? So I'm not gonna really trash talk against the Bengals. But what I'm looking for are the signs of our team gelling, coming together. Maybe Nelson Aguilar comes back and does well, and start taking steps forward to give us more hope in the future for gelling, coming together, playing as a team, and winning in this city. So this week it has nothing to do with the Cincinnati Bengals. It has everything to do with us as fans and the players to do what we need to do to support the now and what we do going forward in the future. So this is for Philly. This is for just being a Birds fan, win or lose. Go Birds! E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Go Birds!